pretty safe to say that when we examine the sequel trilogy, there's a lot of fans out there that are very upset with how Disney and Lucasfilm handled both Star Wars Episodes 7, 8, and 9, and especially with how The Last Jedi was handled by Rian Johnson and Kathleen Kennedy. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing about the Star Wars franchise is that we do know that Disney and Lucasfilm are currently focused on their new Star Wars universe. In case you guys are tuning in just now, the new Star Wars universe is basically going to be their new expanded universe. What they're going to do, essentially, is that they are going to create new stories, new tales of the Star Wars franchise in the galaxy in the forms of TV shows, movies, books, novels, comics, video games, and so on and so forth, that's going to be modeled after the MCU, which honestly I think is going to be a tricky thing to do. The fact that all these stories are going to interconnect with each other, where each and every story will tease another story to come in the future or from the past. And I think that, modeling it after the MCU, it could work, but it's quite risky at doing so because it really is something that really does belong to Marvel and Marvel specifically. But I digress. The one thing that really does interest me is, of course, exactly what they have planned for the future in order to make things right for the Star Wars fans. However, at the same exact time, this could be quite worrisome for the Star Wars community. Now, one thing that Disney and Lucasfilm are currently planning is, of course, a big plan in order to really satisfy the fans around the world. Now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are done with the sequel trilogy, they are currently focused on their new Star Wars universe, also known as the new expanded universe that will come in the form of movies, TV shows, books, novels, comics, and more, that will take fans into a different direction for the Star Wars franchise. Now, one of the big plans by Disney and Lucasfilm is to reset many aspects of the Star Wars franchise, such as many elements of the sequels, originals, and prequels, even in order to retell elements of those stories to change how fans view the films in different ways, and that most importantly is that Lucasfilm is trying to fix The Last Jedi by resetting elements of the film in their new universe in the forms of comics, books, and novels, plus more to come in the near future. Now, this is said to be a plan by Disney's CEO, Bob Iger, in order to fix many parts of the sequel trilogy. However, in doing so, the creatives over at Lucasfilm came to a decision that it would create a domino effect, where that aspects of the past films would need to be retold in their new Star Wars universe. One other big plan and one other big thing is that Disney is actually looking to restart Star Wars Legends entirely by taking the old expanded universe from the 90s and the early 2000s and retelling it in a way as accurate as possible for the hardcore Star Wars fans to enjoy. Now, this is an attempt for them to create different timelines in Star Wars and potential new stories and possibilities for the future of the franchise to continue on for as long as possible in the most successful way in any way, shape, or form, and that they plan to also retell Legends in their upcoming list of TV shows to come on Disney+. Now, this all stems from the lower box office results of The Rise of Skywalker, and that they are also looking to reset and retcon many elements of that film as well. So, with that being said, obviously, this is Disney and Lucasfilm being very desperate, I would have to say at the very least. They're really trying to patch things up. They're really trying to regain the trust of fans around the world. And this is something that I think is quite worrisome, but also very intriguing at the same exact time in a positive sense. If they are going to fix elements of The Last Jedi, then that's fine by me, even though it's only in the form of, books, novels, and comics, which is quite a downer. I would honestly rather them, release deleted scenes and kind of embed them within a new cut of the movie that would give us a better version of the film and even a longer version of the film that's well structured and has less flaws than what Rian Johnson created. So the fact that they're trying to do this not just with the sequel trilogy, but also the prequels and the originals, and even resetting elements, retelling elements of Star Wars Legends. Alright, a set of Star Wars, stories that a lot of fans love from the 90s and the early 2000s, which, by the way, it's a library's worth of content. It's like endless material of Star Wars, and I never fully understood as to why Kathleen Kennedy said a couple of months ago as to how they have no source material, how they have no books and comics to really use for the future of the Star Wars franchise. That was all changed, though, after The Rise of Skywalker, and now they are really trying to model everything after the Legends material and the old expanded universe to be inspired for their new one. So, like I say, I mean, this Star Wars reset, we talked about it before in the past. It's something that is going to be a big risk. There's no doubt about that, because Star Wars right now, you know, is in a position where the Star Wars community is either fed up with it, or they are actually looking forward to what Disney and Lucasfilm have in store for the future. You know, there's two sides of the Star Wars fans here, and there's no denying that. That's just how it is. So, like I say, guys, I'm a Star Wars fan at heart. I'm always excited for the future to see exactly, you know, whether or not they can do something right. And The Mandalorian proved that, in my opinion at least. The Mandalorian's a great TV show. You know, Star Wars The Clone Wars Season 7 looks great. It just shows us that they are worthy of developing great material and great content, as well as they put their mind to it, and as well as they are willing to do so. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.